So when I moved back to, or when I went back home after those trips, I started looking for opportunities to like help in the homeless community, because Broward County, where I grew up, outside of like LA and New York, I think at the time it was either like third or fourth in the worst in the in the states. It's probably down now because they've worked a lot to help fix it. But it's like there's so many impoverished people around you. What are you doing with whatever platform God has given you to be able to help? And that's the thing that I've always wanted to do.
Not even money, right? But just emotionally and everything else,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. There was this one guy that
it can be rich and wealthy family, but you know, just empty inside, sad.
Yeah, and that's kind of going
from
back
neglect.
to like, going back to like, what are you doing to always better yourself so that then you can be a light into the world? And that's always what my goal has been. But it's grown in the spectrum of like, how am I going to view this? You know, because before it was to be a famous actor. For what goal? To be able to have a platform. Now it's just to be a light. I think that's kind of been my goal, because it's transitioned because my priorities have changed with Celeste. It's changed now that I'm having a baby.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's a big shift in my brain in how I want to be able to pursue these things. Like I still want to pursue acting because I feel like that's what God's called me to do. And he's given me so many open doors. But if he gives me another door where he's like, I don't think you should do acting anymore. I think you should focus on jiu-jitsu. Then I'm going to go through it. And that's the door that he's been giving me over and over again. You know, I'll put myself out there. Competing is hard. Competing is hard to like wrap your brain around, especially when like I grew up doing team sports, soccer, football. The closest one I did individual was like track and field. But even in track and field, there's like a team aspect. And I wasn't really good at track and field either. My best sport was soccer, by the way. You asked about sports earlier, and I was pretty good at playing defensive positions in soccer. So I was a sweeper or fullback, and I really enjoyed playing soccer. I played that almost every year from 6th grade to senior year. I think I only took off my junior year because my parents didn't let me because my grades went down. But I always emphasized on like team sports because I like the camaraderie and all of that. And so I didn't really know what to think when I started doing jiu-jitsu. I started doing it mainly because after the COVID lockdowns and all the riots started breaking out, I think Celeste and I were engaged, and a lot of them started getting close to where I lived.
Oh wow!
And
you were in Hollywood?
No, I was in Glendale.
Okay.
But like they were threatening to do. I don't know if you remember, but
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, they were threatening to like go to the Americana in the Galleria.
Yeah. We stayed here overnight one of the nights, and Burbank PD and Glendale PD did an amazing job.
They did
work, and plus all the Armenians, you know.
Yeah, they were like, try it.
Not having it. Yeah.
They were like, try coming here, and I remember thinking at that time, I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. I don't have any, like, every guy has that machismo thought process, like, oh, I'll mess someone up if they come into my house, if they mess with my girl. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I had been in lots of fights with my brothers growing up, and I got, like, messed around with, like, I was never really bullied, but, you know, I was tossed around a little bit because I was smaller by, like, some guys on the football team. But that's about it. And I had no idea what I was doing when it came to like that self-defense aspect. But I proposed to Celeste, COVID happened, and then this overwhelming sensation of like, dude, that's someone's baby girl. You better know how to protect someone's baby girl because he's entrusting you to her. And he's not only entrusting you financially and emotionally and spiritually and mentally and like all the different facets of life, but also physically. And so to a certain extent, you better know how to handle yourself a little bit. And I didn't want to just be the guy that like, okay, I'll buy a gun. It's like, no, I don't want to have to rely on lethal force. So I started researching different martial arts and stuff like that. And the one that kept popping up over and over again was jiu-jitsu. It's like, okay, I could try ninjutsu or I could look for ninjutsu somewhere, but I don't know if that's practical. I just thought it would be fun at the time. No, so I looked up a couple of schools and never really followed through with it until after Celeste and I got married. So we got married in February, and then a couple months later in October is when I stepped in here for the first time because we had just moved to